Brand new music from Hayley Steinfeld on kmfm. It's called Most Girls. She was on the show recently. You can hear that back over at kmfm.co.uk. And talking about guests, Mark and Jay from Kodaline are on the show this evening, and we need to start by talking about album number 3, because that's all we're hearing from fans. So you've worked with producers and writers who've worked with artists like Beyonce, Emily Sandé and Sam Smith. Are you picky who you jump in the studio with, or are you kind of open to work with anyone?
I don't think we're picky with who we go in with, because I think you have to give everyone a chance, like whether they've had a massive hit or whether they're just a brand new write. Like we wrote Brother with these guys who are called rookies, and they haven't had what you would call like a massive hit yet, but they're exceptional and they became our friends, and like that's what we try and do. And anyone that we ended up actually getting a song that we're going to use, they became our friend and we hung out with them, as opposed to, because we have done the thing, like we went to LA for 3 weeks and we were writing with different people every day, and it was horrible. It was completely soulless. It actually was the first time that the band ever felt like work. You know, you had to kind of show up at a certain time and you had to write a song, and it reflected in the quality of the music we came out with. We knew when we were making it we were never going to use it, and we had more fun at night in the house in LA, just the four of us kind of hanging out and writing songs. But we're open to trying to work with like anyone. I think everyone has got something to bring, you know, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
I listened to some of the tracks sent through on an album sampler. It sounds so good. I've been a fan since the beginning. I'm so excited of the direction you're heading. For somebody who is listening now who hasn't heard the album sampler, which I'm sure is a lot of people, what sort of direction are you heading in with this album?
Well, you know, I think carrying on from where we got to with the second album, and then the song with Kygo, Raging, that we did, you know, we're not afraid of pop music anymore. And I just think that's the direction that it's going. There's definitely tracks on there that could fit on the first album as well, so that the acoustic kind of stuff. Yeah, we're just trying to get the songs as far and wide as they'll go.
When can we expect some form of announcement?
Soon.
It's going to happen in the coming months.
Okay.
Hopefully, we kind of finished the album about 3 weeks ago, and then we were like, we kind of had a conversation with ourselves and sat with the songs for a while, and we were like, we think we could do a little bit better. So, you know, and time is on our side. There's no rush. We'd rather get the album to where we're really happy with it and then tour it, as opposed to tour something that's premature and unfinished. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. But I think we'll hopefully be finished the album in maybe 2-3 months. But there's a lot, we've about eight songs sitting there that we are incredibly happy with, and will probably be on the album. But just, you know, you never know what could happen in the next 10 minutes even.
Yeah,
Jesus, anything could happen.
Have you got well, I don't know, it depends on this interview. Have you got an album name yet?
We kind of had one. I think it's not there anymore. We're not going to give it out just in case we come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm giving you nothing here. Sorry.
It's all right. Can you give us like a really, really not obvious clue at all? Like the worst clue you could give imaginable on the potential album title, so that I know that when it does get announced, I can go back to this clue
first.
Okay, well, it's our first 2 albums have 5 syllables, and this one's going to have 5 syllables as well. Okay. And it's to do with where we come from.
Okay, that's more of a clue. I thought you were going to stop after 5 syllables. I was like, you answered.
I probably should have.
Standing in the cold and the frozen window.
It's Kygo and Kodaline, Raging, on the hit list on KMFM, and Mark and Jay from Kodaline are hanging out on the show this evening. So we're going to hit play on your new single Brother in a bit, and you mentioned earlier about working on that in the studio. So take me back to the beginning. How did that track come to life?
You know, I think the version that we finished up with Brother was a really, I think if you go to Spotify and you listen to the acoustic version, that's kind of where we got to with it. And then we got to work with 2 Inch Punch, who's done stuff like Rag and Bone Man and other huge artists, and he just flipped it on its head and sent it back to us, and it was like, wow, that could work on the radio, which is kind of what you need every now and again.
Have you ever asked him why he calls himself 2 Inch Punch?
Not yet, no.
No,
I feel like that's one of those questions.
We just like elephants in the room.
We just kind of let it. We just kind of like, okay, that's a pretty badass name. Don't mess with him.
Don't even want to ask what that's about. So we got two of you here out of the 4. So can we play a game of who's who in Kodaline? Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to name a situation, and you can tell me which member of Kodaline best fits that situation. And luckily for the 2 of you, the other 2 aren't there to defend themselves.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we'll start by going, who is the most likely to fall over on stage?
Probably Jay's clumsy now.
Yeah.
Jay does bang his head a lot.
Okay, you say now, is it like is it a thing that suddenly started
No, just
happening?
in general.
Okay.
Day to day.
Okay, who's the most likely to order enough food to feed a small family?
Steve.
Okay, straight
Definitely
away.
Steve. Singer Steve, yeah.
Who's the most likely to have a secret family?
Jeez, I'm not going to answer that.
Hey, they're not here to defend themselves.
I suppose I'm the only single one, so let's go with me.
Okay.
Just to not get anyone else in trouble.
Okay, who's the most likely to have ridiculous requests on their rider? Obviously, you'll have your own one altogether, but who puts in the most ridiculous requests?
Let's just say Vinny, he's not here.
Yeah, Vinny.
Vinny, yeah.
Who's the most likely to cry during an advert?
Vinny.
It seems like we're going a lot to Vinny. Who's the most likely to be late to a super important meeting?
Steve. Definitely.
Okay.
He's late to this interview, actually.
Yeah, he's late to
turning up.
everything.
What's the longest you've ever had to wait for him?
2 hours the other day.
Oh,
2.5 hours.
No, I'd get well annoyed. Who's the most likely to accidentally end up in Domino's Pizza on the way to the gym?
I don't go to the gym, but I'd end up in Domino's.
Okay.
So you.
Okay, so definitely you. Who's the most likely to get kicked out of a nightclub?
I got kicked out of one recently.
It's Mark, yeah, it's definitely Mark.
Probably me. I won't say for what.
Okay, yeah, we'll leave that. I imagine
wasn't
it would be
pretty.
that radio friendly. Who's the most likely to accidentally break something at a house party?
Me being clumsy, I'd say,
Okay.
yeah.
So you
You
fit that
banging your
category.
head off like an old clock or something and falling down.
What house parties are you at where you're just surrounded by like old clocks?
Oh, most of
The
them.
right ones.
Most of them, man.
Yeah. Oh, an old clock and 2-inch punch, that's what you need in a party. And your final one, who is the most likely to wear the same clothes for a week running?
Definitely all of us collectively.
What's the longest you've worn the same pair of jeans for?
There was a time when we were doing festivals and we were doing like 4 or 5 in a row. So you're changing country, changing festival, and you're just like, you become a festival in yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm pretty sure I've done jeans for like 4 or 5 days before, yeah. Just to get out there, the pants are definitely changed on a daily basis.
Okay.
Sometimes twice a day if something goes wrong.
And on that note, I think we've got everything we need from this interview. Thank you
You've
so
got
much.
to more than enough, I think.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Cheers, Glen. Thank you so much, man.
And I'm going to hit play on Brother. Can I leave you two to introduce it, please?
Hey, this is Kodaline, and you're listening to Brother on KMFM.
When we were young, we were the ones, the kings and queens. Oh yeah, we rule the world.